Good morning, sunshine.
Good morning.
How are we doing today?
Great.
Or is it moonshine for some of you? So here we are. Wonderful opportunity, once again, to find ourselves involved in an experience that stirs us and stimulates us to a point of being present, so that we can come together in ourselves and look again as to the wonder we are. How does this tie in with happiness? Hey, if you can't be happy with who you aren't going to experience much wonder. Well, if you get all serious about it, and you stay serious about it, then you're really just closing the door, preventing happiness from coming through and shining in you. I, as a person, have gone through many different experiences, I'm sure, just as you have, and in the process, experienced unhappiness and thought, yes, this is so wonderful. I want to have this again. And I want to have it again. And I want to have it again. And I want to have it again. Only to discover that I, like so many others, was turning into a happiness junkie. Yes? How many happiness junkies do we have here today? Welcome to the land of addiction. Hey, that's what it is. Because you see, happiness isn't something that can be imprisoned. Now, you can open your heart and you can make room in your heart for happiness. But if you try to lure happiness into your heart and then close the door on it to imprison it, it's not going to work at all. Not going to work at all. And the same thing is true with happiness that is dependent upon something else outside of yourself, including others. Have you ever been involved in a relationship where the other provided such an array of energies, emotions, opportunities, experiences that you just thought, my God, I can't live without them? Or am I only talking about myself now? Okay. Well, you know how it is that we then become affixed to that experience in trying to capture happiness to where we experience happiness as an ongoing thing. Happiness comes and goes. Happiness is kind of like a hummingbird. Aren't hummingbirds just fascinating? And they're so beautiful, aren't they? And they're so quick. They are. And if you've ever noticed, they also have another nature to them. They're quite the feisty little boogers. They are. So far as their looks and their appeal and their behavior, it's not the same. And they come and go. So it's like I'm approaching this from a perspective of look at happiness as a part of your ongoing learning experience about yourself in relationship to yourself and in relationship to life. There are some mornings that I can wake up and I am just full of happiness. And for no apparent reason. I can think about things and get happy. And the happiness registers in me as a feeling, as an emotion. But it's all happening in my awareness. It doesn't necessarily mean that anything outside of me is making me happy, but rather I, in my awareness, am experiencing happiness that then can be amplified by things that I encounter. I can encounter the sunshine and think, oh my God, this is just marvelous. By the way, speaking of marvel and marvelous, I live on a planet that happens to be the exact right distance from a star that produces life in such abundance that allows me to be here and have this experience. That makes me happy. But the same is true for all of us. Does it necessarily mean that it makes you happy? Or that that's a part of your frame of reference that allows happiness to come in and bless you with its presence? You see, this is where it really is that it takes place within our awareness. Now, we can get to a place to where we think we have to act a certain way. We have to look a certain way. We have to be involved in certain activities. We have to have certain relationships. And the fact of the matter is, happiness can come, but it can also go through any of those. What really determines how happy you are going to be, or I am going to be, and this is where the letting comes in, you see, is it takes place in awareness. And it's not going to be all the time. Just this weekend, I had the opportunity to experience a real nice, enveloping energy of darkness. To where I really felt crummy. And no matter how hard I tried, I have to admit I didn't try completely as hard as I could. I did not find happiness entering my door at all. As a matter of fact, I understood. If I were happiness, would I want to come into my door? I don't think so. And this is where I'm bringing another point out, and that is, there has to be a match, you see. There has to be a match. And the reason I put it that way is because you can have the same experience that brought you happiness, or where you experienced happiness, occur again, and you're going to find it isn't there. You're flat to it. You may be trying to, get it up, get it going. You may be trying to prime the happiness pump, but it's as if you're not using the right liquid. So please be hearing this, because when I speak to you in terms of let, I'm not saying make. I'm not saying you can make happiness happen. Because if you get to that point, then what you're going to be trying to do, what you're really going to be trying to do, is to control something that is beyond your capacity to control. Now, what about happiness? Do we all like to be happy? Here, just taking a poll. Do you like to be happy? Yes. Make sure I'm speaking to the right?
Yes.
If you were cattle on your way to slaughter, I'm not sure you would be happy right now. So look forward to having your next steak, okay? Well, look again what I'm saying. It's all the frame of reference, which reveals awareness. We in our awareness have become so affixed to certain things that we say have to be in order for us to experience happiness, that really have nothing to do with the experience of happiness at all. As I grow older, am learning that the more open and receptive I can be, in other words, translatable, the more present I can be in living my life, the more happiness I actually experience. Because I'm not listening to my pre-programming that says I have to do it a certain way, I have to look a certain way. And it all brings it to a present tense, you see. Shockingly. But I wore no hairspray today. I know, is that just incredible? Here I am divulging personal, private secrets. And Woody stood out and looked just great. Now, you may not know Woody like I know Woody, but it brought me a sense of happiness to see, okay, I don't have to be as I was. I don't have to fit into that role that I thought I had to live in order to experience success so far as what I do that brings me a sense of fulfillment, translatable, happiness. That I can go ahead and be me. That I can go ahead and let it see or be shown as it is, and in myself realize it's all right. Now, for some people, that's completely out of the question. And consequently, happiness to them is a rare visitor indeed. Because if you're always operating under the assumption that you have to control your environment in order to experience happiness, you are a very unhappy camper. Now, I'm not up here preaching. I'm simply up here bringing to your attention considerations that might be pertinent and relevant to who you are in your current awareness and growth. And here's an outside possibility to some of you. This might even translate into spirituality. Did I say anything about Jesus? Buddha?
No.
Muhammad? The giants have already been mentioned. I don't have to. You see, we get these really goofy notions of what is and is not appropriate in order for us to be happy. When if you really take a look inside yourself, you're going to see a really increasingly broadening spectrum where you experience happiness. I can really get happy in some things that I consider to be profound. Somebody else might think are superficial. But then I can also go to the other aspect of my own spectrum and see some of the silly things that I also experience happiness through. And then sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with any outside involvement, but rather has to do with an inner appreciation that brings me a sense of happiness. To where then I can come forth and engage with you and be happy. And that sometimes is a mind blower. See, I'm not really putting that off on you. I'm saying it's all dependent on me. Because even if you are feeling raunchy, raggy, whatever it is, I can still feel happy in myself because I haven't allowed your energy to take away from what I'm already, awareness-wise, experiencing. So, it comes right back to the title of today's lecture, and that is, let yourself be happy. And in order to do that, it helps for you to become increasingly aware of what happiness is to you. Thank you. For more information about the Metaphysical Church of Enlightenment or the Rodin Foundation, please go to our website at www.rodin.org. If you have been inspired by the revelations shared in these podcasts, please donate to the Rodin Foundation's ongoing efforts to help others help themselves at www.rodin.org/donate.